Hi there, welcome to On the Edge. I am your host, Matthew Wexler, and you are watching Edge Media Network, your go-to source for LGBTQ news and entertainment. There is a reason why we are going green today. You know, before there was this whole digital drag empire that we've all gotten sucked into, there were a handful of legendary drag performers, and they rocked their stilettos from Miami to San Francisco to the clubs of New York, which is where today's guest got her start. Always sporting her signature green hair and sharp wit that could slice any heckler, Hedda Lettuce has played to sold-out crowds for almost 35 years. And I hope, if she's not already, is going to be back performing live in New York City and her other home in Puerto Vallarta. Hedda joins us today to mark the 40th anniversary and Blu-ray release of one of the greatest, and dare I say, most controversial modern classics of all time, Mommie Dearest, starring Faye Dunaway as film star Joan Crawford. Hedda Lettuce has long had her manicured hands on the pulse of cinematic greats, and I cannot wait to hear what she has to say about Mommie Dearest. Without further ado, our dear Hedda Lettuce. Oh my goodness. Hi, Hedda. It is great to see you. I am having a problem hearing you. Perhaps you might be on mute. Maybe take a look at your audio settings and we can see if we can hear you a little bit better. Hedda's doing a little bit of a check. Testing, testing. Why don't we, oh, I thought I had her there and then she went out, but I think she's gonna come back in. While we are working on some of the technical aspects of getting Hedda back into the stream, which I hope is sooner rather than later, we're talking today about Mommie Dearest, of course, and this fantastic Blu-ray release that we're looking at right now. I mean, I love a good package, and what looks better than that, right? Paramount is releasing this fantastic 40th anniversary edition that Hedda has provided audio commentary, and there are so many amazing little bits and pieces. Oh my goodness, are we back? Oh, we're still on mute. Unable to hear you. I don't know. I love jazz hands, but I think we'll have her try one more time. Maybe she can reset the audio and come back on. We are suggesting that Hedda log off and then come back in. It's kind of like when you've been in a bar too long and you need to go out and get some fresh air. I think that's what we're going to have Hedda do. As I was mentioning, we're talking about the iconic film Mommie Dearest, and you know, it's been such a huge part of our sort of cultural legacy over the years. And there's so many fun facts about Mommie Dearest that have sort of like trickled into the zeitgeist over the decades. Faye Dunaway actually mentioned in her autobiography that she screamed herself so hoarse during the wire hanger scene, which we may be playing in a little bit. She actually lost her voice, and she contacted Old Blue Eyes, I'm talking about Frank Sinatra, to figure out how she could, you know, sort of save her voice and get through the rest of filming. Let's hear her. Still muted.
Out, hold on.
Oh, there we go. Take him out.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
I took
yes.
the pods. So there, I took them out. As long as you can hear me.
Yes, yes, you are in it to win it. Thank you so much. You know, we have to roll with the punches. You have been on...
It's live theater. One correction. I have not been around for 35 years. I have not. It's only been 27. You aged. I think you were reading Lady Bunny's bio by accident.
27 years, which is still a benchmark to be celebrated. So I stand corrected. Absolutely. You
yes.
Have a history of celebrating the movies. And I would love to hear sort of how that all started. I remember seeing you in New York City. And I think at that time it was called Hedda Presents the Classics. How did that all come about?
Well, that I was working at a club next door, a restaurant cabaret space called East of Eighth. And what ended up happening, there was a guy named Craig O'Connor who was the manager of the Clearview Cinemas at that time. And he was interested in doing a classic movie night, and he knew about me, and he liked my wit and my persona. And he came over to the, he just had to walk next door, and he asked me if I'd be interested in hosting a classic movie night. And I, being incredibly lazy and the commute was so short, I said yes, I would do this. And at the beginning, when we started, we were only charging $3 and I think $3 to come see these classic movies. And so that's how it began. And that was 20 years ago.
Wow. And did you pick the programming, or did your contact at the movie theater pick the programming, I guess, at the beginning, or eventually did you work together?
Pick the programming, and then at some point when they trusted me enough, I was allowed to pick the programming. There was a point about, I would say about 7 years into it, when the ticket sales started to go down. And then that's when I decided to make commentary underneath the films as they were going on. And then things went back up again because people seemed to like sitting there with me, like a best drag queen friend at home, making comments about the movies that we were showing. So
I didn't.
That's how that happened, because the ticket sales started going down. I mean, we've been around for 7 years, and that's a long time in New York City to have something even that long go on,
Right.
And the New York City are fickle. But so then we started doing that, and then it changed it. It changed it completely.
Yeah. What kind of films, when you started picking movies to host and then you started realizing that you were kind of amping up the experience with this commentary, what sort of films were you drawn to? Or was it all different genres, or were there just things that you found fun that you felt like you could just sort of chat alongside with?
Well, we did pick not all different genres. We stuck with most of the strong female lead films from different decades, particularly the 40s and the 50s. And we did branch out to other things. We stuck with the classic women of Hollywood. That you would think are the classic women, like Bette Davis, Joan Crawford, Barbara Stanwyck, and all of those things. We did branch out, but I do think the first movie we showed was actually Barbarella. I think that was the first we ever showed was Barbarella. I'm surprised we didn't stop after that one. But
Okay.
that was the first film we showed was Barbarella. And then from there, we branched out to some other crazier, campier things. We went, the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, The Blob. We started showing horror films, classic horror films. We pepper those with commentary also. And then we even showed Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis. And then we just branched. It just exploded after that.
Yeah, well, I'm not just being nostalgic, because you had provided what I hear is scintillating commentary to accompany this 40th anniversary Blu-ray release of Mommie Dearest. We have the packaging that we showed earlier, and there it is. I just love how this is all put together. How many times have you seen this film? Honestly, do you even know?
At least 50. This was one of the films that I first started doing commentary on, was Mommie Dearest. We would show it every anniversary. We'd show it twice a year at the theater for Gay Pride, and I'm trying to think of the other time, Halloween, because for both it's wonderful. And people really enjoyed me doing the commentary underneath it. So for 20 years, I've been doing that. And then I had a live accompanist play with me. Her name is Rachel Kaufman. And she would underscore, like they used to do in the silent movie era, I believe, playing underneath it. So she would underscore some of the drama as I was talking through the movie. And lo and behold, that would be, tons of people would come see it. And then Paramount Pictures contacted me about a year ago about this.
Well, of course they did, right? What do you think tips a film like this that was made in earnest in 1981 to something that becomes camp?
Well, which has been, how it becomes camp is, the lead actress is the last one to know.
Yes.
They're always the last to know that there's, and they're so invested in it, they don't realize how ridiculous it is, and therefore then that's when you get it. That's when you get really good, true camp. When one of the main actors in the movie is the last to know that this is a tragedy. Just like Showgirls, which I've shown many times at the theater. All the actors.
Right.
I mean, Elizabeth Berkley. I mean, Gina Gershon, I think, knew what was going on, but Elizabeth Berkley had no clue and thought this was going to be her big defining moment. So the same with Faye Dunaway. This was going to be another defining moment in her career, bring her back, and you know, in a way, it did. Maybe not the way she wanted.
No. No. Yeah, she you know, she thought she was going to be nominated for an Oscar, right? And then she sort of got raked over the coals. Roger Ebert famously said that the film left him feeling creepy. But we do have some other shots from the film. I would love to jar your memory. So here is a still. She looks elegant. Do you have anything like that in your closet? A little lame, silver lame number?
That is my favorite dress. In that dress, she tucks her children in. I mean, my mother was wearing a house dress when she tucked me in, but that's how Faye Dunaway's interpretation of Joan Crawford is. That's how she tucked her children in, wearing that. That's a good night, my kids. Mommy's going out now. So that's a definite. That's timeless. That's a timeless outfit.
It really is. It really is so classic Hollywood. Let's take a look at a second still, which really calls to some of the other aspects of the film and the relationship with her daughter, Christina, of course, which the film is based about. Where is this in the movie? Do you recall?
God knows where that's a strong. You know what? That may just be a still that.
Oh, yeah.
It could just I think that just might be a promotional still. This is when she's giving her up for not when she's boarding school, but this is a promotional still because when she does it in boarding school, she's wearing a different jacket. But that's when she's dropping Tina off to boarding school.
Oh my goodness, she looks so sad. So there we see the young Christina Crawford, and of course the film was based on this memoir written by her adoptive daughter. And she also wrote, about the abuse from her mother and alcoholism. We do have a film excerpt, one of the most famous scenes from the film, which I would love to share with our viewers. Let's take a look.
Okay.
No wire hangers! What's wire hangers doing in this closet when I told you no wire hangers ever?
Oh my. As I mentioned, that is one of the iconic, clips from this film. I'm curious how you approach humor. The era in which she was dealing with addiction and mental health, the era in which this film was made, and the era that we're in today are all very different. How do you think about humor when approaching a topic that really is sensitive and can be traumatic for people?
Well, you got to have a sense of humor about things in life, and I think the gay community is very good about having a sense of humor around tragic events and making them lighthearted in a way. That scene, while that's playing, I have the piano player playing some ridiculous music underneath it, as I'm doing a thing where I'm talking underneath it, saying, what do you do after you win an Oscars? This is the scene right after she wins the Academy Award. Some people relax, some people write a little note, some people go into meditation. Joan counts hangers. That's how she relaxes after a big win. So she's doing that, counting the hangers. The actual, so it is one of those things where, some people have a hard time with that scene. It's very challenging, that scene, because then she gets a little bit more down and dirty and starts beating Christina with the hanger. And then you move on to her going into the bathroom with Christina and then smacking her over the head with some Comet. So, but when you're saying stuff like no wire hangers with such determination, delivery, without laughing, I mean, that's a laugh line. Now you have to just, the audiences treat this like a gay church, and they're saying these lines out with her as it's happening. We're all saying this together. So in a sense, that changes the energy of the scene too, but makes it this communal event, and just makes it sort of just Camp Macabre.
Right. Right. We have one last film still that I would love to share, and this to me sort of embraces just that. Oh, look! I mean, she's got a head wrap, just like you. And who doesn't love a monogrammed robe, right?
No, I'm not. I'm naked from the waist down. She's not. But that is one of my favorite looks in the movie as well. I mean, first of all, I can't wear white to save my life, let alone white furniture and red lipstick. It would look like a bloodbath. And Tina comes into the room. Her dolls have been stolen, and Mother is totally in lizard snake glamour mode. And she's rubbing moisturizer on her rough spots, her elbows, and telling the Christina what for. And that really, that's Hollywood.
It is. It is. It really, I was thinking it's such a snapshot of the golden age of Hollywood. Do we even have any stars like that today that you could sort of compare?
You'd have to pick it out. You would have to say maybe Cate Blanchett. I mean, maybe Nicole Kidman. I don't know. I don't think any of them have really. I mean, Reese Witherspoon. Wow. No, I just don't think. I don't know. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Do you think part of it is because, they all want to be accessible on social media. They all kind of want to be their fans' best friends instead of this kind of elegant distance between them and their larger fan base?
There's a problem with being people's best friends. People want to talk to you, and I think they had very distinct boundaries in those days, which is very necessary to maintain a sort of legendary persona. I don't want to be a friend. I have a few friends that I like. I'm here to make a few jokes and a couple of laughs. That's about it. And I think they really knew that. It adds mystique, and I think that's what creates a long-term career. Too much accessibility. It's like public transportation. Why do I hate it? Because the public is on it. So, a private car. You know what I mean? I don't want to, please. So, yeah, they knew how to manage that.
We got a great question. Do you think there is a new Mommie Dearest, or sort of a film of that caliber or lack of caliber for the younger LGBTQ community? And did you see Feud? And what did you think of that representation, if you saw it, Joan Crawford and Bette Davis?
I think regardless of your age, Mommie Dearest is a timeless thing for anyone in the LGBT community, whether you're 12 or a saucy 72. I don't think there's any movie that can touch this. That's, I don't know what generation, millennials, Generation X, I don't know which one, but no. And as for Feud, I watched bits of it. I want to remember Joan and Betty the way they were presented in cinema. I want to remember them that way in their movies and some of their video clips. I don't want them remembered through in a mini series per se. I think they're
right.
Big to be in a mini series. They're too larger than life to sort of have that. But a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, they have. You know, I have been following you, I have to say, on social media. We were talking about sort of stars and accessibility, and it's really, I have such a kick watching your Instagram post that your account is Hedda Lettuce NYC. And I haven't seen it for a while. You used to take out this big little Edie like magnifying glass, but I think.
Yes, I would do it during the pandemic. And the reason being I was, which I'm probably going to start again, is because I can't see close up. And when you're doing the Instagram live shows and you're reading people's comments, I was too vain to wear reading glasses on camera. So I would use the magnifying glass. And right now, for your viewers, I am doing the mastering of the reading glasses under the sunglass look right now, because I wanted to be able to see your beautiful face in clarity. But that's why I would use and that was that time right when the pandemic started and all the work dried up. And I went to work online. I went to doing an Instagram live show, which they're all still there if you want to watch them. Some of them are really hysterical. Lots of current public figures that were out in that time. It was so really fun. It was a hoot.
Yeah, yeah. We have a question from Tracy, one of our fans who are watching us today. And, you know, as we said, you've seen the film so many times. Is it even possible to have a favorite moment from Mommie Dearest? Something that's just like, boop.
A favorite moment in Mommie Dearest. My favorite moment in Mommie Dearest. You know, it's like picking your favorite child. It's very difficult. Well, for some mothers it isn't, but I just, in the case of Joan Crawford, it wasn't very difficult picking her favorite or her least favorite. I happen to think that the first half of the movie, I really love when she's about to, this is a simple scene, when she's about to seduce the man and she lifts her leg up in like a Pilates move, and she's on this beautiful chaise lounge and she's wearing this gorgeous dress and she's just about to get laid. And she's just loving her body and her legs and her shoes, and she's just living through this moment. It's wild. It was an interesting choice as an actress to do. There's a lot of interesting choices that I think that's what's made this movie what it is today. She made a lot of interesting choices, and the director didn't stop her, because I don't think the director had the courage to.
Yeah, you never know. You know, as you were saying earlier, when actors think they're giving this performance of a lifetime, they may be, but you never know what's going to make it into the final cut. And the way it's all sort of pieced together, there's so many moving parts to what makes a film complete. So she probably thought she was just giving it 110%, which she was.
Oh, yeah, you know,
I would love.
Yes, I think her performance was pretty brilliant in a lot of ways. I do.
I agree. I think your performances are brilliant in a lot of ways too. And I want to know where we can see you. Are you, you know, the world is opening up slowly but surely. Do we have a chance to see you on stage, either or both, in New York City or Puerto Vallarta?
If you don't get a chance to see one of my Mommie Dearest live events, you can buy the DVD. Because I do underscore one of the buttons on it. One of the features is me talking underneath the movie. So if you've never seen it and you couldn't see me live, you can always get an experience like that. I live most of the year in Mexico now, and I here at the Red Room Cabaret. But I'm coming back to you can see me every season from November till May here, and then I come back to the city for July and August to perform on Fire Island, another gay hotspot, Mondays and Tuesday nights at Cherries. Plus, I always do my silly videos on Instagram and tell stupid jokes and just have a good time. And but pretty much now, my life as an aging starlet, I've chosen Mexico to just age gracefully and just live life in a lighter way.
It's so beautiful. I love Puerto Vallarta. You know, I'm based in New York City, and it's such a great treat to head to the western coast of Puerto Vallarta, or to Puerto Vallarta, that's on the west coast of Mexico. And then even Riviera Nayarit, which is a region to the north, is beautiful as well, to get out of the city.
It's very gay. It's a very accepting, and there's a lot of shows, a lot of theater, a lot of restaurants. So come down to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, and see me here.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have any final parting words to charm our viewers before we let you get on with your beautiful day?
I would just say I want to thank Paramount Pictures for including me in this amazing moment of my life. Like it was part of my career that's now captured for posterity. Posterity. I always get those two forever. And I'm very flattered and honored about that, and I'm very proud of it. So I just want to thank them for thinking of me and thanking you for having me today to
Of
talk
course, of course. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Hedda. Thank you so much for joining us. My dear, so much fun. Well, if you want to hear Hedda Lettuce's full commentary, as she mentioned, be sure to check out Paramount Pictures special 40th anniversary Blu-ray edition, and that is going to be available on June 1st. Also on June 1st, On the Edge welcomes Grammy-nominated Rufus Wainwright for a spectacular show. You know, Rufus is a huge Judy Garland fan. We're going to be kicking off Pride with him with us. We're going to have a great conversation, be talking about Judy Garland. And then on June 15th, we welcome Asia O'Hara, who is part of the all-star lineup of Drive and Drag Saves 2021, which needed a saving. So we can't wait to chat with her as well. Lots to look forward to. Until then, live on the edge.